Hey, what's up, guys? So we're going to take a look today at a debate. It has to do with violence. It has to do with societal issues and staying safe. It's who is more violent, the left or the right? And we're going to take a look at Jake put on an absolute masterclass in debating in general. If you're not subscribed already to Rattlesnake TV, Jake's channel, definitely go do that. As well as Modern Day Debate that hosted this. If you're not subscribed there, do that also. They bring you some of the best debate content on the internet. So let's take a look at this one right now. I'll try to keep my mouth shut as much as possible, and we'll watch it together.
Attacks on police, federal property destroyed, Portland, ICE facilities ambushed in 2025, officers wounded, multiple arrests, Tesla arsons, campus intimidation, assaults at public events. These are real, documented, repeated acts. Facts, not opinion. The lived reality of political violence today overwhelmingly shows a modern left that tolerates and even commits violence when it suits their cause. And here's the bottom line. This is absolutely ridiculous. This whole entire debate, the premise of this debate and everything, the left is more violent. I know it. My opponent knows it. James knows it. The audience can see it with their own eyes. We deal with it all of the time. We're dealing with new things every day. If anything, we're just desensitized to it at this stage. And yet, the attempted gaslighting by the left, pretending that these patterns don't exist or minimizing them, is intolerable. Today, we're going to expose the reality. The modern left tolerates excuses and in many cases engages in political violence. And it's time to call it out for what it is. So with that, I'll hand it off to Brent.
Great job here by Jake. I like how he says, I know it, you know it, everyone knows it. It's an appeal to the audience. And now let's take a look at some of Brent's opening statements. You're going to see the hypocrisy right off the bat. He starts out by saying he could list a bunch of statistics, but that would just be boring, and then continues to just list meaningless statistics the entire time. So he starts out with hypocrisy. I think that's pretty telling, but let's keep watching together.
As surely as 2 and 2 make 4, the left is presently less violent than the right by far. I could quote studies and crime statistics all night, but that would be intensely boring, and I don't think I would persuade most of the people here. Still, just to get it out of the way, here are a few. In 2021 study, Far Left versus Far Right, published in Criminology, Criminal Justice, and Law Society, over 30 years, 1990 to 2020, researchers found, quote, over the last 3 decades, the overall prevalence and deadliness of the far right far outweighs the far left, despite far left violence increasing in recent years. The right-wing Cato Institute concurs. Out of all of the ideologically motivated murders, excluding 9/11, between 1975 and 2025, the far right was responsible for 63% of ideological murders, and the far left just 10%, the remaining 23% being jihadis. If you include 9/11, then according to Cato, the right is responsible for 11% and the left just 2% of the killings, all the rest of those being chalked up to jihadists. That CCJL study actually has a breakdown of all the ideologically motivated extremist homicides. Just shy of 85% of the ideological murders have been committed by the far right, while only 15.6% were carried out by the far left. Now, they also break it down by weapon type, ideological strength, the specific ideological motivations, and presidential administration. The worst administration for this happening was Bill Clinton's second term. 19.4% of all right-wing murders and 7.1% of all left-wing murders happened under Clinton. The first Trump administration had a high uptick of killings on both sides, 11% of the right's 85% and 40% of the left's 15% took place under Trump, which is a huge uptick from where the left was before. But out of all of the far left murders, only 3 are ideologically motivated by anti-government sentiments. Similar anti-police sentiment contains only 6 leftist murders over the course of 30 years. The number one motivation from both sides is anti-race/ethnicity violence. 33.3% of all ideologically motivated murders by leftists and 42.7% by the far right, respectively. Even anti-social minorities, which would include anti-LGBTQ murders, make up only 32.2% by the far right. And you want to know the craziest thing? The total number of people who have been murdered over the last 30 years for political reasons is, excluding 9/11 and the Oklahoma City bombing, just 269. Let that sink in. 269 murders, 42 coming from the left and 227 coming from the right in a country of 340 million people. there were 22,830 murders just in 2023 alone. And to bring it back to where we started, not the right, not the left, but our politicians and our media is most likely what is driving the few ideologically motivated murders we've seen, which would also explain the somewhat incoherent politics that we know of the Charlie Kirk murder.
Sure. Sorry, yes. First of all, I'd like to make sure that we can agree on a definition of what political violence actually is, because I think that maybe we have contrary definitions here. Brenton, can we agree that political violence is the use of force, coercion, intimidation, or damage to property by individuals or groups to influence political outcomes or punish opponents?
I'm okay with doing that. However, I think that there are levels of political violence, and the more serious should be weighted much more heavily than the less serious.
Yeah, so you said that the study that you were citing there was over the past 30 years?
Over the past 30 years, yeah.
So it doesn't take into account the LA riots in the 90s? It doesn't take into account the LA riots in the 90s?
No, it starts at 1990. So it does take into account the LA
35
riots.
Years.
So what I have here is it's not, okay, so there were 3 studies, but the 2 that I focused mainly on, one was Cato Institute, which was 1975 to 2025.
I thought you said the modern day left.
Yeah, then the other one was 1990 to 2020.
I thought you said the modern day left. Are we talking about the left now, or are we talking about the left over the past 50, 60 years?
So you can already see that Brent has no idea what he's talking about. As soon as Jake starts to question his stats, he completely falls apart. That's pretty par for the course. That's to be expected with these people. Let's keep watching.
Was on when a conservative like Cam Higby recently went out to a college campus and he was assaulted and he was spat on. They chased him out of there for wearing a MAGA hat and having conservative ideas. The Tesla dealerships were burned. All these conservatives who are going to Portland at the moment are being assaulted. Please tell me where this is happening on the right. I really would love to know.
I mean, the right are like shooting up mosques and churches and stabbing. They're murdering black people.
The right are shooting up mosques and churches. Where is this happening?
Tree of Life shooting, if I'm remembering. The Gladius was in New York. Specifically, it was done, I think around 59th Street, though it might have been, but basically a white nationalist came in, murdered an old black man with a Gladius because he was black, for no other reason than that. As I said, most of the murders are race-based, and that's on both the right and the left.
So how's that political violence?
You murdered a guy because you don't like black people and you don't want them to have rights. That's political violence.
Where did he express that?
Well, literally to the police, like after he was caught. He specifically said, "I did this because I'm a white nationalist." Right. So yeah.
So all the black people who are killing. So you'd say Irina Zhurutska, that was obviously a political violence.
I'm not familiar with that person or that.
Irina Zhurutska was the Ukrainian girl who was killed on the train recently, and he said, "I got that white girl."
I mean, that guy. If you want to say
here we go. Of course, when the shoe's on the other foot, it's never counted.
No,
and this is why
again,
the left wing. You guys are just so dishonest about this, and it just comes out like that. It's almost just too easy to draw it out. You've said that one person is a race-based political violence, and then the other person is not. Irina, that wasn't political. Obviously,
the person who killed
Give me a break,
the Ukrainian woman. I was actually going to say you might consider that race-based.
Oh, you might.
Violence.
You might. He said, "I got that white girl."
Well, yes, you might consider that. Again, if you look at the study that I sent you, it specifically has both the fact that, like, the reasons for committing the crime, but also the level of ideology involved in it. And from what I can tell in the story of that guy, he wasn't part of any particular anti-white organizations. He wasn't a black nationalist. He was a guy that society failed at every point, and then it eventually...
he's a victim.
I mean... In a way, everyone's a victim all the time.
He's like the hungry people who are stealing just because they're hungry.
I would say he's batshit insane. And he killed somebody.
Oh, yeah. And the white guy who walked into the place and shot the black guy, he was just fine upstairs. He was just...
there's a level... So when, for instance, when the Nazi went into New York and murdered the black man with a gladius, he was behaving logically from his perspective. It's still wrong. It's still evil. He's working on the wrong assumptions there. But there's a level of sanity that you would not find in a random homeless person who just stabbed the person in front of them for absolutely no reason and they said, well, I got her because she's white. Now,
I get your point, but I just want the audience to know this right now, okay? What we are dealing with right now is the typical obfuscation of the left and how they contrive narratives. And he knows it. I know it. You guys all know it listening to this. They're going, I let you speak and you'll be silent.
All right, fair enough.
You'll be silent while I speak. All right, so the left-wing violence, they're not going to count people like Irina Zhurutska. They will happily, any white person who basically commits a crime, they're going to call this political violence. But then with Irina Zhurutska, I don't know, society really hurt this guy and he really fell off the rails and we should have helped him more. But the white guy, nothing like that.
Brent's hypocrisy really starts to come out here, as well as just his general craziness. He says the right is shooting up churches. That statement doesn't even make sense. If you're shooting up churches, you're clearly not on the right. So we have blatant hypocrisy on display. Jake calls him out on it. He says, what about Irina Zhurutska? A clearly racially motivated crime. So you see that one doesn't count. We have hypocrisy. And the reason that Brent gives is intentions. And we're going to see this as a pattern. And this is something that leftists do all the time. But he knows the intentions of the killer that he talks about from the church, as well as the one on the train in South Carolina. So he knows the intentions and gets to assign who's actually guilty and who's not. How convenient for him. Let's keep watching.
All I want to know, Brenton, is arson at political rallies, mobs attacking ICE facilities, burning down police precincts, vandalism, targeted vandalism with political motives. If all of these things are in fact political violence, where is this happening en masse on the right? Because all you've been able to give me is a shitty study that only looks at one aspect and also a few little examples, anecdotal examples, as opposed to all of the examples that we can give, which is when it happens en masse. Tell me, Brenton.
I don't really know who exactly is doing the Tesla burnings. If you want to know why they're going after Tesla, it's probably because Elon Musk was doing stuff like destroying Social Security. And to express their anger, they destroyed his property, which is bad and wrong. And I will denounce that from now until the fucking cows come home, because political violence doesn't work. Yep. However, that is, if you look, when people are going to be violent, whether it is the right or the left, they tend to target different things because they care about different things.
I don't care why they do it, Brenton. Is it political violence is what we want to know.
Of course it's political violence. Jesus Christ.
Then you lose the debate, buddy. Because where's all that political violence happening on the right?
The debate is who has it more.
Yes, exactly. So tell me where it's happening en masse on the right. I really can't wait to hear it, please.
I mean, en masse on the right,
yes.
The freaking Trump administration is committing what is essentially a genocide in the United States.
Stop it. Get some help.
Please explain how the Trump administration is committing a genocide in the United States.
The definition of genocide is an attempt to destroy an ethnic or several other categories, but in this category, ethnic or national population in whole or in part. And the Trump administration has done two things specifically. Is one, they are deporting people from the United States without due process based upon their race. And then the other thing that they did was, and this is in, again, the Geneva Convention's definition of genocide, they are stealing children, or they were at least back during the first administration, stealing children from their parents, which taking children from one group and transferring them to another group is an act of genocide. So, yeah, the mass political violence is currently coming from the Trump administration. And
then they called Obama the deporter in chief. Was Obama committing a genocide?
I would say quite possibly. Honestly.
Okay, so then how's it happening more on the right than the left?
I would say you didn't ask. Okay, the overall question of how it's happening more on the right and the left results to everything, not just exactly what we're talking about. Now, specifically with regard to deportations, you asked what is the right doing in terms of mass violence, and I'm telling you the deportations are mass violence.
And you just said that the left also does that, Brenton. This is not looking good.
I said that the left deports. But again, the left is not trying to eliminate a national or racial group within the United States. At least I would hope.
So they had good intentions. Once again, guys, when the left does it, they have good intentions. When the left does it, they are doing it because they have good intentions. When the right does it, guys, we're evil. When the right does it, we're evil. Different genocide motives. Now, Brenton knows the motives.
So mad about?
Brenton knows the motives, guys. James, seriously, I told you not to get me any prostitutes to debate with. Next time, can you also not get me any comic book people? Because this is honestly embarrassing.
So Jake clearly wins the debate here. He gets Brent to concede. Brent doesn't even realize it. Once again, you see the hypocrisy on full display. When Trump does it, bad. When Obama does it, not bad. Again, Brent knows the intentions, so he can assign who has good intentions and who has bad intentions. An overarching theme that we've seen this entire debate, and leftists use this all the time. The last thing that I'll say, which I really find the most amusing about all of this, I'll put this graphic up on the screen and you can see pretty much every assassination since the 1960s has been by the left. Who else is there? Who else was killed? Every single one of them, none of them killed by the right. So let's just put that out there as the clear victor in this debate. That would have been my only point. Like, name me one person. You just name me one that the right killed. Usually they won't be able to do that. And if you add in all the other violence, the firebombing cars, the Tesla dealerships, the burning down cities, BLM, Antifa, riots, you see them now in Portland at the ICE stations. There's no question Jake clearly wins this debate. Again, if you're not subscribed to Modern Day Debate or Rattlesnake TV, Jake's channel, go do that right now. If you like this video, please take a second to click the like button. It really, really does help me out. It helps get the video seen by more people. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe. If you want to see the end of this debate, you can also check that out on Jake's channel and Modern Day Debate. I appreciate it, guys. Talk to you soon.